bring to the microphone Miss Paula Heinrichsen for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Yeah, let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, at this point in time, I'd like to bring, of course, lady that needs no introduction, Mrs. Deary, who has a few words for our opening ceremony.
Thank you, Jim. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the National Short Track Championship Saturday night program. We've had a little problem with the rain, but that does not dampen our spirits or yours. And we thank you, we thank the drivers, the sponsors, and all of you people, and especially our staff that tries to put this program on for you. And we hope that you have a very enjoyable weekend and do come back and see us many times next year. Let's go racing!
All right, a big hand. Come past their starter, Tom Powell. They get the green flag. We're racing.
Down the line, green flag goes in the air as they work to turn number one. On the brake, Johnson to the outside, pokes the nose ahead of Backstead, but Backstead comes battling back to the inside lane, but Johnson tries to cut him off on the far end of the racetrack. Again, double line racing, but Maya knows it's Johnson at the stripe leading the initial lap. He'll try to move back down to the inside of the racetrack. The front two virtually single file. Still the drag race on for third is Bone trying to get the run on Gerke. Gerke, the odd man out, kind of caught to the outside, trying to get back in line, but Bone now pulls ahead slightly at the start-finish line, heads back to turn number one. Again, the battle rages. They scramble for position. Close racing off turn two. Everybody now finding their place in line, getting single file, heading back to turn number one. Johnson sees his rear view full of Backstead. Backstead closes in from the rear flank. So does Bone. The front four now trying to put a little daylight on everybody else and form a breakaway at the front of the field. Stevens now the man challenged for fifth as he looks to turn number one. Watches his rear view and tries to move to the bottom, but the car slides up the racetrack. He's under challenge as Slater now closes in, tucks it to the bottom of the racetrack. Heinrichsen also there. Add him to the equation. A three-way mix for the fifth position in turn one. Challenge on for the lead, just a matter of time as Backstead looked down low off turn number two, tried to get the run but couldn't. Now draws even off turn number four. Here comes Johnson trying to get back down to the bottom to cut off the lane. They're off turn number two. Again, the battle for the lead on the corner.
All right, Brian Johnson Jr. in the 38 fights off the challenge from the 27 as we're coming up on 12 laps remaining in the race. Oh, now George Bone on the inside. George Bone behind the wheel of the number 6, challenging for that second spot.
Here's Bone spilling down to the bottom of the racetrack, saw the opening after he made contact on the rear bumper of Bagstad. Opened up the lane off turn number 2, pulls down to the inside. He's pulled down to the inside a couple of times on several guys, just hadn't been able to advance. Now he's dead even at the stripe. A Ford and Chevy battle for the runner-up spot. Bone again on the brake, looks to the outside, now tucks it back down low as he tries to grab the runner-up position. Really, they're not trying to do anything out of the ordinary. They're just trying to get some laps under their belt, learn something from this race, go into the feature later on tonight in one piece without having any damage to their machines. Right now, the front 3, they've been the breakaway at the front of the field as they led from the outset. They kind of just stayed nose to tail, kind of tied together like beads on a string. Johnson shows the way. Bagstad second. They encounter some lap traffic in turn number 3. To the inside of the racetrack is Havel. Give courtesy to the leaders as they'll swing wide on the lap car off turn number 4. Successfully complete that back to turn 1. Now Bobby Davis, the next machine to loom ahead of the front of the race leader. Brian Johnson will have to swing wide. Bagstad tried to make the move, but got sandwiched in behind a lap car. Now tries to clear him, but he'll have to do it to the outside lane. He'll lose a car length in turn 3. Johnson shows the way off turn number 4, and will now work back to turn number 1. Another lap machine directly in front of the leader. That is Lawver, but he'll move down to the inside. Good thing it's on the straightaway, as Johnson will clear him as he works the banking on the outside groove to get by that automobile.
Now coming up on 4 laps remaining in this 20-lap last chance race, Brian Johnson continues to hang on to the lead as he's riding on the outside groove, but they're side by side, wheel to wheel, as they're dead even past the start-finish line. Take it away.
Bagstad not showing much patience. He went down to the inside on the midpoint of the backstretch, sweeps by, picks up the top spot. Getting drop kicked is Johnson back to the 7th spot. Will leave some room open on the bottom of the speedway. Bone trying to grab the position as he'll look down low as they head back to turn number 1. Again, the race is on for second off 2. Field off turn number 4, about to get the white flag. One more lap to go here in this last chance event. Back to turn number 1. It's Bagstad who took the lead a couple of laps ago from Johnson. Started on the pole, grabbed the spot, reclaimed it a couple of laps back, and off turn number 4 will cross the line, grab the checkered flag, head off into the feature event later on in the night. Brian Johnson finished 2nd. George Bone was 3rd. 4th was Darrell Gerke, and Stevens rounded out the top. In between turns 3 and 4, about 250 feet from the start finish line as they head off turn number 4, getting set to hit the front straightaway. They come down to the line. Green flag goes to the air, and Kreider now slow on the start to turn number 1. Here comes Bergnall, gets the jump on the outside, but quickly loses the lead. He's trying to get back in line to keep from losing 2nd. He gets in behind Kreider as he protects the low groove in 3. The front 2 nose to tail, double wide from 3rd on back. Now Kreider starts to pull away by a truck length on the back straightaway. Now make that 2 truck lengths. Back for around the 3rd spot. That's where May's under challenge briefly. Now he's trying to grab 2nd. Look down low, going to turn number 3 on the machine of Bergnall. Bergnall cut off the lane, making the back end of his truck wide. Playing a little defense now off turn number 2. One machine spins to the inside of the racetrack. I believe that's Tim McCoy spinning next to the apron, touching the grass. A little bit of smoke trails out from underneath it. Does get the truck. Again is Kreider now up in turn number 3, about set to come off turn number 4 to get the green flag. Everybody's nose to tail for the moment. They come down the line. Through the gearbox goes Kreider, pulls away by a truck length. Staying right with him though is Bergnall back to turn number 1. May down to the inside, followed by Captain, along with Sinequitz, who sits in the 4th position, back to turn number 3 as they funnel through the corner. Like a jackrabbit, Kreider is gone in a hurry. Leaves them by what looks like a country mile of about 8 car lengths, or truck lengths rather, off the end of the backstretch over the machine of Bertel. Real scramble on now. The hard racing from about third on back. That's where McCoy down to the inside works back to turn number 1. Got his hands full for the moment. Right up on the rear tailgate and pressuring him as captain. Stays back in line behind him. Doesn't do anything rational for the moment to get out of line to try to pull even. If he's going to do it, he'll have to do it the hard way on the outside groove. He don't want to do that. He'll stay nose to tail back in turn 1.
5 laps to go in this 10-lap qualifying race for the American race trucks.
Onto the back straightaway, still clear. Racetrack ahead for the leader, which is Mark Kreider, who heads to turn number 3, doing like he's done for most of the night since the start of the race. Down to the inside of the racetrack, on the gas, still continues to stretch the lead. What was like a rubber band before that caution flag flew, but it's now 7 truck lengths, the separation between the two machines, with Bergdahl in the second spot. He looks for the white flag off turn number 4. Kreider down the stripe, takes the white flag, hitting turn number 1 for the final time on that outer groove, trying a little something different. It enabled Bergdahl to close in, but it's too late. 4 truck lengths now, the separation. He may cut off another one before they hit 3, but again, it's going to be Kreider now grabbing the checkered flag in the first of 2 heat races for the American race trucks as they head off into turn number 1. It was Kreider winning.
Will come around and take the green flag.
The Cheek and Young on the front row as they head off turn number 4. They come to the stripe. Up through the gearbox goes Cheek. Gets away by a nose as he starts to pull ahead of him. He tries to get to the outside. Here comes Young now trying to move down low. He's trying to protect the bottom of the racetrack on the back straightaway. Embry gets back in line. Now he grows impatient, moves to the outside to try to pull even for second. Front 3 now, nose to tail as they start to pull away from Sean Bergdahl, who gets left about a truck length behind. Then the scrambling going on near the tail end of the field. Down to the inside, momentarily went hot trying to get up underneath and get the necessary run to make the pass on Corey Lodge. Didn't materialize. He gets back nose to tail now. Everybody stays that way back to turn number 1. Again, the breakaway of 3 trucks at the front of the field. It's Embry to the inside of the racetrack, swings up off the corner, pulls away by a truck length. Second is Young, then Hott is in third. He closes in from the rear flank, moves back in line up off turn number 4 as he tried to make the move, but knew he was going to lose more ground than gain any. Right now he's not losing any for the moment as long as he just stays single file. That's the case off turn number 2, but it's Cheek leading the way by a truck length and 3 down to the inside of the racetrack. Young experimenting with a little bit different line, going to the outside, then to the inside. Kind of a tough race to watch. You want to look at the leader, see what he's going to do, then look back for second and see what they're going to do. But Hott now looking inside, trying to grab second, still being persistent, but yet unable to get the spot for now. Hott goes almost to as low as the grass as possible without actually touching the grass to try to make the pass. Got the left front tire down to the apron of the speedway. Lost a truck length in the process. Young keeps the spot. The leader's still Cheek, but now he has empty racetrack in front of him. Kind of reminiscent of the first heat race earlier on, or just a moment ago, when the leader had clear racetrack and started on the pole, just drove away from everybody else. Here's Hott down to the inside, pulling even at the stripe for second as he has the preferred groove going to turn number 1. He moves up the racetrack, but does as much as he can without actually making contact with him. They continue to be joined at the hip in turn number 3 for the runner-up spot. Cheek, who was just crossed the line the last time by, saw the white flag, looking for the checkers this time. Off turn number 4, he will win the second heat race for the American race trucks. Second went to Young, third went to Hott, fourth went to Bergdahl, and rounding out the top 5 out of the 7 trucks that was in this field was Corey Lodge. So that wraps up Finley and Terrell making up the front row. They're off turn number 4 now, looking for the green flag. They get it. It goes high in the air. They head to turn number 1 on the brake to the outside. Terrell gets the jump, tries to move down to the inside. Some congestion there from second on back. That's where the pole sitter, Finley, got not up to speed on the initial green, headed to turn number 1, had to stay at a harm's way. A close call from about third on back after making contact. It looked like Finley at the front of the field, about set to lead them to the green flag, but it's Terrell getting the jump at turn number 4, pulls ahead by a nose into the straightaway. Green flag goes in the air as they head back to turn number 1. Lee going to be content just to get back in there and ride nose to tail for the moment as he gets right up in front of Jimmy Becker, who gets back in line after experimenting, thinking about going to the outside. He thought better of it, though. Fell back a car length, but Terrell heads to turn number 1. He pulls away by a car length. Finley now trying to close in off turn number 2, off the corner and down the back straightaway. Still not up to full power, though. He's tagging along at the tail end of the field, which consists of 6 cars. Lee tries to roll up underneath Terrell, but Terrell has too much speed down the straightaways, pulls away from him by another car length, keeps the position and protects the race lead. He does watch his rear view closely and feathers the needle in turn number 1. Here it comes down to the inside, comes Lee, looking again, but loses another car length to 3. He brakes early, then gets on the gas and catches him and makes up the ground that he lost. Really the only hard racing going on is from Jimmy Becker on back, and Jimmy's the 3rd place car. Went to the outside, swung it wide going into the corner, left some real estate on the bottom as Schultz tried to make it stick but could not, therefore did not cover the position. Challenge for the lead is on down the back straightaway to the inside with the preferred groove as Lee tries to draw even coming off turn number 4. Again, this is the battle for the top spot, but Terrell may continue to keep it as he enters turn number 1. Still working that high groove, but making it work and keeping the lead on the backstretch. Becker closes in as from the rear flank, draws right up on the rear deck lid. Down to the inside goes Schultz, tries to take 3rd away. Man, this is a tough race to watch so far as they continue to go at it at the front of the field. Here comes Schultz to the inside, pulling even on the back straightaway, poking the nose ahead. The Chevrolet to the inside of the Dodge of Becker in the corner. Schultz, who had problems in qualifying, was all over the place basically, has off-road experience and adapting quite well to a stock car with a lot of horsepower and making something where it has a lot of traction, especially on something on asphalt. That's been the biggest difference for guys running on dirt or any kind of dirt activity prior to coming to asphalt or getting in a stock car. Right now he sits 3rd in the running order, doing a respectable job, just trying to get in behind and learn something, get some valuable seat time that can carry over the feature. Right now sits 3rd, about a car length behind Lee, but the man checking out with the race lead after being challenged there a moment ago, about 4 laps ago, was Terrell. Crosses the line yet again and heads back to turn number 1, occupying the middle part of the racetrack from 2nd, 3rd, and all the way to 4th spot. That's where the second group of machines is, as Lee continues to head up that pack, just trying to protect his position and keep it and just finish this race. Schultz is saying, why hold back? Looks down to the inside, almost got the position. Cutting him off, up off the banking to the inside of the speedway was Lee. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, again run single file, but Lee's the man that's got his hands full, but he's just got another lap to go. If he can do it, he'll bring it home in 2nd. Now white flag goes in the air, back to turn number 1. Terrell into the banking, off turn number 2 for the final time and onto the backstretch. Unless something drastic happens or something breaks or he hits the wall, he's going to win it. Off turn number 4, looking for the checkered flag. He does just that. Jocks Terrell wins the heat race for the McLeod Mid-American stock cars. Kevin Lee finishes 2nd. His time in qualifying, however, just after the inversion, and will lead him to the green flag. Michael Eady will be the outside of the front row as we're almost ready to pull away from the front straightaways. The pace car will lead them around a couple of laps before they turn them loose.
What number is he in? I don't know. Strictly the Rockford.
Track safety crew lining up near the inside.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, a wave lap. As the field parades by you, let's stand up and let's salute the drivers. The guys and gal that make up this first of 2 twin 100s for the Joliet Valve. Feature event gets set to go for 100 laps. And we'll go for 100 laps that make up the twin 100s for Joliet Valve.
A lot of faithful race fans in the grandstands here this evening. Some of them came out earlier on this morning around 10 o'clock to come in to witness practice and so on. It had been here for most of the day. A lot of faithful race fans again in the grandstands. Pace car now pulling away from the field, about set to head into the garage area. Field now in turn number 3, all bunched together, getting set for the green flag. Off turn number 4, they get it. Green flag goes in the air. Hill will get the jump going to turn number 1. He'll protect the bottom of the racetrack. Edie gets back in line behind him. Papini runs 3rd. He's single file. Everybody from about 5th on back are side by side working to turn number 3. Down the inside of the racetracks comes Wilcox, or McCoy rather, trying to take a position. Following him through is Bilderback, trying to open up the inside groove, but he's hoping McCoy will punch the holes for him on the back straightaway. Three wide for a half a lap works, 3 wide for a full lap won't. Almost an accident heading to turn number 1 as they all started off turn number 4, 3 wide. Dennis Miller along with Papini and Edie. Edie's getting lost in the shuffle. He's had a frustrating night already, and we're only 3 laps into the race. Took off there on the first lap, but has since been sinking like a boat anchor. Is now trying to fall back in line just to run there for the moment to prevent from getting past, but now he's losing positions in wholesale fashion. Guile still leads the way, got a lot of clean air as everybody from there back was racing amongst one another. If you race door to door and even 3 wide here, it's not going to work. You're going to lose ground if somebody gets some clean air. That's exactly what happened, and the leader already catching the tail end of the field as he works off turn number 4. About 3 lap machines directly in front of the leaders, about to put them 1 lap down as they head to turn number 1. First one in front of the leader is Bruce Havel. Havel will stay to the inside along with the automobile of Scott Lawver. Then the machine of Davis also there. He's about to be passed now as the leader has already passed 2 of them in turn number 1. They stay to the inside and out of harm's way. Guy backstretch goes to work on Davis, changes lanes on the run, works the outside groove to make the pass on him. Davis stays to the inside of the racetrack to allow the leader to go by. Steve Ruback, not so lucky, got boxed in for a moment, had to breathe the throttle, didn't get back on it, and lost a car length in the process, falls back 4 car lengths into the rears. Really the hard scrambling going on is from about Dennis Miller, who now goes to work on McCoy going to turn number 1, tries to get the inside line going into turn number 1, tries to draw even on the backstretch. A couple of Chevrolets going at it. Miller, the Rookie of the Year last year, won a couple of races this season, had a fine season earlier on as that has now been concluded, trying to make a name for himself on the National Short Track Championship weekend here at Rockford, pulling up underneath McCoy. McCoy out horsepowers him and out flexes him going to turn number 3. He's doing a pretty good job keeping the position on the outside because Miller really is faster. It's just a matter of time before he makes the pass to get sole possession of the spot. Trouble in turn number 1. A couple of machines get together. Another spins and skitters off the apron down through the grass. Looks to be the machine. Now they've taken the hood off the car. They've gone to look inside the engine compartment. Going to be a single file restart. Guiley comes off turn number 4, takes the green flag. We're underway once again here at Rockford. Guiley, a good restart, pulls away by a car length. Rubik now closes the gap after he did not get a good restart coming off turn number 4, but he's reeled him in quick. He closes in within a half a car length, tries to search the bottom groove, almost a pass and change for the 4th spot. Here's Bilderback trying to dive down the inside of the veteran of Dennis Miller. Miller doesn't cut him any slack though, even though he stays on the outside. Double wide on the backstretch with the Ford of Bilderback to the inside, to the outside, the Chevrolet of Miller. As long as they do that, the leaders are going to run nose to tail and catch lap traffic and pass everybody, leave those guys behind. They'll then get boxed up and have to run single file after racing door to door. They better hurry up and do something. Bilderback gets the spot from Miller, picks up 4th. He'll try to track down the front 3, but the task at hand now is not only trying to catch them, but encounter some of the lap traffic. For the moment, Guiley off turn number 4, about a quarter of a straightaway from catching more lap cars, including Stevens. He's the next machine to go a lap down. He was involved in that first caution up between turns 1 and 2. Right now, he sees the leader coming, Guiley going to the outside. Guiley not only trying to clear the lap car, he's trying to protect the groove and protect it carefully to keep Rubik directly behind him, who stays right up on his rear deck lid for the moment. They'll swing wide of the lap car of Stevens on the backstretch, make the pass through turn 3, get boxed in again, then hit the gas to clear the Taylor car, who boxed in Stevens. They finally dispose of those machines, entering turn number 1 as Rubek's to the outside groove, about a half a car length behind him as he enters turn number 3. Middendorf, the next machine to get past, as a lot of cars all racing in a big cluster for the time being. Guiley under challenge right now on his rear deck lid, now hanging a fender to the inside with the preferred groove going to turn number 1 is Rubek trying to pull even up off the corner to grab the spot. On the back straightaway, they clear the lap machine, who's to the inside of the racetrack. They'll swing up off turn number 4, single file for the moment, but Bilderback's been able to take advantage of those guys entering lap traffic. He's closed in right up on the rear deck lid, up off turn number 2. Papini starts to pressuring, but an inside line doesn't come available because the 2 lap cars are blocking that move there. Now they get a little bit of clear racetrack. Watching his move carefully, and off turn number 4 is Guiley trying to protect the lead. Leads by a car length. The front 4 now, or make that 5th, is Miller, who lost a spot from Bilderback, but Bilderback is getting racy now, trying to grab 3rd. That enables Miller to close in. He pulls within a half a car length. Will try to reclaim 4th from Bilderback. It doesn't work. He tried to slice down low, lost a half a car length, pulled back behind him. Off turn number 2, Papini slides up the banking. Here comes Bilderback again, weaving, trying to move to the outside or inside lane, whichever's available to try to grab the position. Miller gets back in line behind Bilderback. Now a challenge for the lead. Down to the inside goes Rubek to try to take the lead away. Guiley now to the outside. He'll use the lap car and set it up for a pick. He works it to perfection, at least so far. Almost 3 wide there. They split the difference on the lap machine going to turn number 1. Middendorf can do nothing but watch the leaders go by. He'll now stay on the apron to give courtesy to the cars on the lead lap, which consists of a 5-car breakaway right now at the front of the field, with Guiley leading. Running 2nd is Rubak. 3rd belongs to Papini. 4th is Bilderback, and 5th is Dennis Miller. Miller's a car really not as fast as the cars up front and just ahead of him, but he's been able to catch them due to the fact that they've caught lap traffic. Rubak, about 5-10 laps ago, had an opportunity to make a pass. However, they caught a lap car. This is his perfect opportunity now, but this time he can't get to stick all the way for the lead. He finally drives to turn number 3 underneath him for the spot, tries to grab the lead as he enters turn number 1, almost gets into the side of Gill. A nice job by both drivers, keeping their machines off one another and the outside wall. Rubak with a preferred groove to turn number 3, makes it stick on the bottom. If he can do that, he'll have the spot covered. The lap car is really complicating matters at this stage of the race. Right now, the leader, Steve Rubak, who just took the spot away from Guiley, went down to the inside. He punched the hole for Ricky Bilderback, the O2 machine. He followed him through as they try to get around the lap car. 3 wide off turn number 2. That ain't going to work, people. Off the corner, checking up is Papini. Papini gets back in line behind Guiley, but Guiley gets drop kicked from 1st to 3rd in one fell swoop. Rubak now catching lap traffic, works to turn number 1, goes to the outside. Following his every move and playing follow my shadow is Ricky Bilderback, who stays within a half a car length to turn number 3. They get boxed in behind April Reimer trying to get by her, but they kind of got to use patience at this stage of the race. Things kind of getting strung out. We're almost to the halfway point. Rubeck knows he's got a fast car. He's just trying to bide his time behind the lap traffic to get by as he works to turn number 3. At the present time, he does have his hands full with Ricky Bilderback. Bilderback has come from about 5th to 2nd in a hurry, and he's done it with the lap cars being in front of him. He's passed them on the inside to the outside. It makes no difference. His car, you could say, is working anywhere he wants to make it work. Down to the inside off turn number 4. He draws even at the stripe. Back to turn 1. He tries to hang the fender underneath him. Mark Anderson's the lap car in front of the leader. Holds up the machine of Rubeck. He has to brake early. Accepting the invitation down low is Bilderback. He'll accept the spot, give the thank you sign, and pick up the lead in the process. One more lap before we hit the halfway point on the backstretch. Bilderback seeing the tail end of the field, or more lap traffic, I should say. He's already sliced through a lot of it. At least Rubeck did for the moment. 2 lead changes so far in the race as Guiley gave up the top spot to Rubeck. And now the 3rd leader, the new leader, is Ricky Bilderback. Got as much lap, what seems like a track that he's got a million laps on. That's probably the case. Off turn number 4 is going to clear the lapped automobile of Bobby Davis. He's been lapped on several occasions. As he stays to the inside, he knows they're just going to come around again, so he just stays there. Front 2 now opening up a little bit of daylight on everybody else as they work off turn number 4. Bilderback leading, Rubeck 2nd. 3rd is Papini. He's not made up any ground the last few laps, but has not lost any either. An unscheduled stop. A man on pit road, that is Bobby Hacker. It looks like possibly a little minor left front damage, but the hood goes up. His night may have just come to an abrupt end. We'll get an update there in a moment. Now they take the hood off. He's going to rejoin the field, but lose several laps along the way. Now trouble in turn number 1. One machine spins to the inside, another up against the wall on the driver's side of the car, and one going in backwards motion off turn number 2, which is to the inside. Bilderback shakes free of them in a hurry. Gets gone like a jackrabbit. Up through the gearbox he comes, takes the green flag, heads to turn number 1. Rubeck stays right with him, follows in his tire tracks for the moment in turn number 1. Tries to go inside, back to the outside, gets back in line. He's content to ride there for the moment off the end of the backstretch. Rubeck had thoughts of making it down low and trying to get on the apron to get up underneath him, but thought better of it. They almost exchanged sheet metal at the exit of turn number 2. They do not, however, and continue straight. The front 2 have the cushion of the lap car of Hacker in between them. In 3rd place, Papini. Then it's 2 car lengths back to Dennis Miller sitting in the 4th spot. 2 car lengths back in 5th is Guiley. The last several laps of the last 25 to 30 laps at least, the front 5 from 3rd on back has been basically unchanged. Really, the ongoing scramble continues for the lead. Best battle on the racetrack. Down low goes Rubeck trying to make the pass. He'll hang the fender up underneath him momentarily, but from the center part of the turn off is where he gets beaten and onto the straightaways, and he has to fall back in line. Right now, he's not losing any ground, but not gaining any either. Right now, sitting in the 2nd position. Papini trying to close in from the rear flank, 2 car lengths behind. They'll tiptoe through 3 and 4. Now Rasmussen, the next machine to go, who is many laps down, who was involved in that first caution, which involved 3 cars up between turns 1 and 2. He spun and got stuck down through the grass and was unable to get out of there and had to receive help from the wrecker to get going again. He's about to go a lap down, but a lot of cars now scrambling, trying to stay ahead of the leader. It's not going to happen. They have to stay to the inside. They'll yield the outside groove, give plenty of real estate to Bilderback. He's gone again now, trying to set the picks on the lap cars to hopefully box in the cars behind him. Rubeck sitting in the 2nd spot. Directly behind him is Papini in 3rd. He's about a car length back, trying to use the lap car as an advantage to possibly close in, but he's really not had anything for the front 2. He's just stayed with them because of the lap traffic keeps stacking up in front of them. really talk much tonight about Dennis Miller. He's won numerous times here at Rockford Speedway, has been a regular here for a lot of years, is currently sitting in the 4th position. He's shaken himself free from the lap traffic and is closing in within a couple of car lengths of Papini, who sits in the 3rd spot. The chase still on for the lead, however. Rubeck trying everything he can. He's worked that bottom. He really hasn't tried the outside. Bilderback's been stronger up there, working the high groove. Could be pulling a little bit different gear, and it's working well for him so far this evening. Once he grabbed the lead, he was able to keep it no matter how close Rubeck gets to him. A whole juggernaut in front of the leader, though, as they're stacked up 2 wide. If they stay that way and instead of they get crazy racing 3 wide, things are going to get some kind of interesting. But for the moment, they're racing double wide, now starting to string out and run nose to tail. Just a couple of lap cars real slow, like they're headed down the pit road, but they stay on the racetrack. Swinging wide of another lap machine, which is Bayer to the inside. He sees Bilderback coming. Down to the inside, here comes Johnson giving a tap from behind. Again, a little bumper car action going on in 3 and 4. Bilderback applied the front bumper to Johnson, but was able to get by him. Following his every move is Rubeck. He's to the outside when he's been strong on the inside. Let's see if he loses ground. Down the back straightaway, 2 car lengths as he tries to get around the machine of Stevens, who was involved in an accident earlier on after running in the last chance race to get into this feature. 20 laps to go. Yeah, we've gotten through this one pretty quickly. The last few laps around, they've dodged a couple of bullets, especially up there in turn number 4. Cars wanted to go inside, outside, and in the middle of the racetrack. Back to the line is still Bilderback showing the way. 2nd place is Rubeck, sitting in the 2nd spot. They are now forming a breakaway, trying to get away from everybody else. Papini, he's had nothing for him all night. He's had a good race car, just kind of maintaining his position, sitting 3rd in the running order. He's going to have to worry about Miller. Miller could be a player before this one's over. He's going to get a piece of this one, at least maybe a 3rd out of it, if he continues to work and be persistent to try to get by Papini. He goes to turn number 1. He tries the outside to the entry to the corner. Will fall back in line a car length. They have to work the lap traffic. They'll tiptoe in 3 and 4. The lap car is still to the inside, though, doing a good job of getting out of everybody's way. It just looks like disaster if they get about a quarter of a straightaway within them. Trouble on the back straightaway. One machine tags the inside wall near the tail end of the wall. It's going to turn number 3. He just kissed it, but he has some wrinkled sheet metal on with some damage that he's...
3 and 4. Green flag, we're racing.
Down the stripe, green flag goes in the air. Back underway, just 10 laps to go. Rubeck stays right with him, bottles out to turn number 1, or bottoms out. Gets back in line, however, as he tried to open up the inside groove, but couldn't. Now here's the opportunity. Dives down to the inside of the racetrack. Bilderback by a nose at the stripe. Back to turn number 1. Rubeck still trying to grab the position as he tried to roll up underneath him to set up to the exit of turn number 2. It didn't develop. Papini now closes in. Add him to the equation. You could fold a blanket over that top 3 now as they work off turn number 4. Head back off into turn number 1. Down to the inside now, trying to protect the position is Rubeck. He's slow and off the pace as he falls off dramatically. Here's Papini going by down low and exchanging sheet metal. Getting into the side of him is Dennis Miller. Here's Guiley getting by, also opening up the inside groove. Getting drop kicked now. The 5th is Steve Rubeck after having a chance to win. 1 car is George Bond. Something amiss on his automobile. Slow up into the gray area of the racetrack. Will keep it out off the wall. Close call in the front straightaway as Travis Eldridge almost rear-ended him, and he was basically almost in the trunk with him.
Shootout at the old corral here at the Rockford Speedway. Here comes Bilderback out of turn number 4. Green flag, we're back up racing.
Question now is, does anybody have anything for Ricky Bilderback? He's been slow on the restarts. Really, that's the only time he's been seriously challenged. Papini tries to open up the inside groove along the midpoint of the backstretch. Falls back in line, now drives to turn number 3. He'll pull even at the stripe as they cross the line. Now back to turn number 1. Bilderback says, you're not getting the lead. Off turn number 2, he works that outer groove, continues to keep the top spot. Papini now has to worry about the machine of Dennis Miller. Miller to the inside, both machines changing lanes, trying to get to the inside. Miller got loose coming off turn number 4. He could be out of this thing. He lost 2 car lengths Off turn number 2 again, Papini, but he has to check up because the lap cars in turn number 3 complicating matters. He now starts to draw even once again. Man, he's getting around this place on the bottom of the racetrack. One of the few cars we've seen to do that here tonight. Steve Rubeck continues to fall back. Some sparks now trailing from underneath the automobile. He stays to the inside, continues to bottom out through the corners. Nevertheless, back up front 4 now. Heads off turn number 2, Bilderback occupying the outside lane. He works back to turn number 3, encountering some lap traffic. 4 machines, they could be a factor. Here comes Papini down low, trying to grab the spot, gets back in line again. They clear the lap car and dispose of Rasmussen. Still more to encounter here the final time on the backstretch. They move wide on another lap car to the inside of the racetrack. Here comes Papini to the inside, not close enough. He'll come up a tad short. Ricky Bilderback will win the first of the Twin 100s here. Joliet Valve Twin 120 100s here at Rockford Speedway. He now pulls even along the back straightaway. Gives congratulations, Papini does, to the winner, Ricky Bilderback.
One more time, have a big round of applause to Ricky Bilderback. And Pat Sharp from Joliet Valves here, Ricky, presenting you with the trophy. Pat, go ahead.
Ricky, on behalf of Joliet Valves and everybody here at the Rockford Speedway, hell of a race. Congratulations.
All right, the checkered flag once again waved over the head of Ricky Bilderback. Ricky, just a few, we'll let you get some photos in there. Once again, our thanks to Joliet Valves, sponsoring the Twin 100s. And Ricky Bilderback picking up the honors in the first of 2 100-lap feature events. All right, Ricky, congratulations to you once again. Certainly a very satisfying win for you. As I reflect back onto the race, about halfway through the 100-lap feature, you took the lead. Your thoughts at that point?
Well, I knew Al's always fast in these races, and Bobby's really fast. And I really, Rubeck come out of the woodwork there, and he was really fast. He was faster than we were, and I snookered him on a lap car and got by, but he was definitely the car to beat there tonight.
Well, 2 thoughts ran through my mind. You took a double barrel shot from not only Steve Rubeck, but also Al Papini in the last 10 laps there. You bobbled just a little bit up there in second and turn number 2, allowed Rubeck to pull up alongside, but you got the better bite out of the turn down the backstretch and into turn 3.
Well, that's one thing about running the high line here. You get off the corner so with more momentum, and I knew Al would be sticking it under there through the middle, but as long as I didn't burn the tires too bad off, I'd be able to pull away from him, at least keep a little bit of distance.
And my second and final thought to you, Ricky Bilderback, what did you think about the lap traffic? There was a lot of lap traffic. Our flagman was waving the move over flag. Did it pose a problem to you?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, we still could run side by side. I think I kind of, Guiley had to check up when I went by him, because otherwise he'd have been in the wall with one lap car underneath me. But other than that, I tried to give Rubeck and both Al enough room where if the lap car come up, we'd at least still be able to race a decent race.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time for tonight's winner of the Joliet Valve 100-lap feature event for Ricky, the Rocket Bilderback out of Rockton, Illinois.
Spot gets back in line again. They clear the lap car and dispose of Rasmussen. Still more to encounter here the final time on the backstretch. They move wide on another lap car to the inside of the racetrack. Here comes Papini to the inside, not close enough. He'll come up a tad short. Ricky Bilderback will win the first of the Twin 100s here. Field bunched tightly together. They work between turns 3 and 4, about 50 feet away from looking for the green flag. Now they see it. It flies. It goes in the air. On the brake, it's Haslide getting the jump to the outside groove, trying to move back down low, roaring to the inside of the racetrack. He moves up high, throws the block a little early for that on Pete Moore as they funnel back through 3, nose to tail amongst the top 3 cars. Down to the inside goes Roaring, tried to make the move, fell back a car length. One machine, Michael Winstead, out of the groove, possibly making contact with another machine. That all happening at the front of the field. Nevertheless, we stay under the green flag. Winstead going to get to the inside of the racetrack as he's slowed dramatically. Van Nuys trying to get the run off turn number 2 to get underneath Jerkovic. Jerkovic leaving all the room in the world to the inside of the racetrack. Again, they race door to door coming off the corner, but they're losing ground to the front cars. Top 5, if they stay that way, they will advance really to top of the last position. The 5th spot going to be the one where everybody's going to be watching. That could be where something spectacular happens. Off turn number 2, down to the inside, a challenge for that position now is the machine of Notestead. Try to go low on the automobile of Mark Hartline, but Hartline shut off the lane and cut off the advance and kept the position, at least for the moment. He's about 3, make that, I'm going to say 6 car lengths now from the front 4. A brief look to the bottom of the racetrack trying to grab the lead was Roaring, but he bluffed it in a hurry. He stayed in line.
Pete Moore now slows the 86 machine up in turn 3, now in turn 4. Pete Moore off the pace. That'll move Tim Schendel up to 3rd. Hartline will go 4th and Nottestad 5th.
He was a guy a couple of races ago here at Rockford, led a lot of the race, but right now his evening appears to have ended prematurely, or seems to be heading in that direction. Nonetheless, he is slow on the inside of the racetrack. Again, the front 2 really have basically an almost unchanged. Roaring kept the top spot at the pole as he come off turn number 4 and took the green flag. Haslai got the jump going to turn number 1 on the initial green to the outside to move down low, but Roaring has since went on by to reclaim the top spot. Hasn't won since 1996, which happened at Lebanon I-44 Speedway in Missouri. Car length, the separation on the back straightaway. It's kind of stabilized the last couple of laps around the racetrack. Roaring keeps the top spot. If he continues to get daylight, he'll pull away from everybody else. It's just a matter of time before he catches the lap machine or a car about to go a lap down, which is Winstead, who did not get off good at the start. Kind of got lost in the shuffle and almost made contact with another car, but lost touch with everybody else and is just kind of out there riding for the moment, hoping for a caution.
And meanwhile, Josh Vadnais in the 11 got around Boris Yurkovic for that spot. A great side-by-side battle for many laps. Now Vadnais in the 11 car takes over that spot. Meanwhile, up front, J.R. Roerig continues to lead in the Remax Challenge Series last chance race.
Holds about a 2-car length edge over the machine of Haslai, sitting in the 2nd spot. As Dean told you earlier on in the afternoon during qualifying, he left Frank Motorsports, has picked up a ride. This one seems to be kind of a one-race deal, if you will, with Jerry Gunnerman. He made arrangements for that in this weekend here. Currently 8th in the series standings, but does not have a lot of seat time in that particular car. Heading back to turn number 1, he does cut in front of the lap car of Winstead, pinches him coming off the banking and down the straightaway, but he is receiving heat from behind. He has to watch his backside carefully. He's got his hands full as he watches the machine grow larger in his rear view, but he appears to be slow on the inside. Either that or not taking any chances and doing anything that could cause him to fall off the pace, but looks like he's off the pace. He's headed to the garage area. Tim Schendel leading, sitting atop the stack as far as the rookie standings go in the Remax Challenge Series, having to go through a last chance race to get into the field for tomorrow night's event, sitting in the 2nd position, but he's a long way back, what seems like a country mile separating front 2, Roaring with about 15 car lengths. That's almost a straightaway, if not a straightaway, length ahead of Schendel sitting in the 2nd spot. From 3rd on back, really that's the best race on the racetrack. But thing is, for Van Dyke, if he just maintains his position there, he's going to get a transfer spot. I don't think he wants to do anything stupid and make contact.
And one thing that Dale Nottestad and Josh Vadnais have to concern themselves with is they don't have a provisional to fall back on. Nottestad and Vadnais get together off of corner number 4. Just as we say that, Vadnais, it's his first race in the series. Nottestad his 2nd. They have to make tomorrow's show through this event, and they're bumping and banging on each other.
Vadnais said, "I'm faster than you. Open up the lane and let me go on by. We'll both get into this race." But I guess the pass was being judged by a degree of difficulty or something as Vadnais went down to the inside and moved off the bottom of the racetrack and made contact with him. He's since got sole possession of the spot and left the machine of Schendel behind, or make that Notestead as he's now fell back, but he himself's got a transfer spot if he just sits there for the moment. He's going to lose ground, though, to Van Nuys. Up front, though, didn't take long for Schindel to reel in the leader. He's within a couple of car lengths now on the backstretch. Roaring still with the top spot, however, closing in on Boris Jerkovic. He gets the move over sign at the start-finish line, saying the leaders are coming. Time to get out of the way and give some courtesy.
And Schindel has closed in the gap to within about 3 car lengths of J.R. Rohrig as the pair work turn 1 and 2.
Schindel for a moment was slow, but now he appears to be going again. He's closed in. It's been the rubber band effect so far. But as far as the battle for the lead, Schindel, who closed in earlier, then lost ground, is now closing in again, kind of the accordion effect too. But he's now within a couple of car lengths, just working through turns 3 and 4. Off the corner, wiggles a bit at the start-finish line, but still 3 car lengths the separation between Rohrig in first and Schindel running in the second spot. Rohrig closing in on the lap car, which is Winstead. Winstead stays out of the way. He'll drive the apron through 3, which is the middle groove of the racetrack. It's kind of the preferred line here anyway. So Roaring, it makes no difference to him. He'll successfully clear the lap car and dispose of him. But Winstead kind of boxes in Schindel. He has to lift off the throttle at the exit of turn number 2. That's a position where you actually want to be back on the gas, but he had to burp it momentarily and lost ground there for the time being.
And with that, Rohrig has opened up a sizable advantage once again over Schindel, as we have 8 laps to go this time by. For your race leader, J.R. Rohrig.
J.R. Rohrig, this will probably be a shot in the arm for him if he can win this last chance race going into tomorrow's event. Nevertheless, still paces the field for the moment. That lead was fluctuating there momentarily, and it's now closed in within a couple of car lengths. Schindel lost some ground there a moment ago trying to work the lap traffic. Good thing this is the last chance race. You don't have to work lap cars much. So if Schindel's got anything, now's the time to do it. He can close in and grab the lead. Up off turn number 4 now, again about 3 car lengths. Roaring showing the way, heading back to turn number 1. For the 3rd position, a little contact there. They're playing bumper car, if you will, at the start-finish line. Van Nuys, he's shown plenty of aggression tonight and showing that he's a stubborn machine on the inside of the racetrack. Off turn number 2, he'll try to grab the spot. Drifting up the banking, going to 3 is the automobile of Hartline, leaving room. Trouble off turn number 4. One machine tags the inside wall. That is the automobile of Dale Notestad. Spins back across the racetrack. The leaders check up and avoid the machine of Notestad.
And Boris Jerkovic, 6th.
About 7 to go back to green flag racing. Just 5 laps to settle this last chance race for the Remax Challenge Series. They come to the stripe. Good restart by J.R. Rohrig. Pulls away by 2 car lengths, but the ground that Schindel quickly lost quickly makes back up. He's within the gun sights now of the machine of Rohrig, as he has him within the gun sights off turn number 4. Again, nose to tail as they head back to turn number 1. Really the lap car down to the inside, which is the machine of Winstead, stays out of harm's way. The leaders go by him on his outside. That's Van Nuys. He's made some aggressive moves to get up near the front of the field. He would have been about 5th. Instead, making the contact, got him to 3rd. Roaring off the end of the backstretch. Schindel in the 2nd spot. Schindel may want to take the lead away, but he may just want to be able to sit there and say, I'm safe, I'm in the race tomorrow. It's been hard to see. 2 car lengths, the separation between 1st and 2nd. Roaring off turn number 4, about to see the white flag, comes to the stripe, heads back to turn number 1 like he's done all evening long. Tuck it to the bottom of the speedway, hits the back straightaway. Boris Jerkovic, he won't be a factor. They'll clear that machine or go wide of him along the front straightaway to the stripe. To the checkered flag is Roaring, winning the last chance race for the Remax Challenge Series. Tim Schindel finishes 2nd. Van Nuys finished 3rd. Pace car heads off pit road. Down to the stripe. Green flag goes to the air. Greenberg on the jump towards turn number 1, occupying the inside of the racetrack. Bagwell, though, comes battling back. He hangs tough on the outside. Almost a 3-wide situation, braking for turn number 3. 1 car gets back in line. That is Lloyd. He thought better of it. He occupies the inside as well, trying to follow Greenberg if he can kind of punch the hole to reclaim the spot. But Bagwell with the lead pulls away immediately by 2 car lengths on the back straightaway. Here comes Greenberg drifting up the racetrack and opening up the lane. Lloyd trying to make it stick underneath without making contact. It's not going to happen this time off turn 2. They'll funnel back through the corner to the outside, trying to get a run there as Michael as Claver tried to make an outside move and done it in turn number 3. He's got the position, now trying to slingshot maneuver his way around Greenberg. Greenberg moves down the racetrack, lays the block, heading back into the corner. Greenberg checks up, the contact was made, the pass has been made also. Claver now picks up the 2nd position, moving Greenberg back to the 3rd spot. With all that happening, it enabled the race leader Brian Bagwell to pull away. 5 laps are complete as Bagwell shows the way after starting on the outside of the front row. Lloyd closing in from 4th position, trying to draw up alongside, up off the corner, and try to make a pass to get around Greenberg. Some hard racing going on at the front of the field. You can tell these guys want to get into the race tomorrow. Right now they settle in line about a car length back. So does Lloyd as he heads back to turn number 1. Can't make the pass and get it done this time off 2. Greenberg keeps the spot off the end of the backstretch. Tries to draw even or close back in to cut off a little bit of distance that he lost to Claver. But Claver maintains the 2nd position. He's now trying to track down the leader. That's the job at hand for him, but he can't do it for the moment. He's kind of just stabilized and kind of sitting where he's at as Bagwell leads him back into turn number 1. 10 laps are completed here out of the 25 that make up the distance. Almost to the halfway point of the race. Off turn number 4, a wiggle by Bagwell. He doesn't lose any ground because of it. Claver coming in a hurry though. Lloyd still working on the back bumper as he closes in from the rear flank off turn number 4 to get alongside Greenberg. Mike Wallace, you were needed at the ticket window. Mike Wallace, you were needed at the ticket window. It is an emergency. Mike Wallace to the ticket window. It is an emergency. The lead is on as it rages off turn number 4, spills into the front straightaway. Bagwell got his hands full. He's on the defending side trying to protect the lead. He doesn't do a good job of protecting the bottom of the racetrack. He feels his car is stronger up there. Clover tried to move down to the inside to get the run off the end of the backstretch. He pulls even slightly, but at the start-finish line, he gets out flexed as Bagwell keeps the spot back to turn 1. Bagwell to the outside on the midpoint of the backstretch. Clover falls back in line. They funnel back through the corner right now, nose to tail this time around. That couldn't be said the last time by because they were racing in a drag race for the runner-up spot. Greenberg fell back in line as well, but he's kind of hoping, he's backed off about 2 car lengths from Clover. He's hoping he and Bagwell can get up there and kind of tussle it out and scuffle amongst one another, give a little room to him for him to grab the lead. They tiptoe back to turn number 3. Bagwell being careful though, even though he does swing out wide and gives opportunity and seeking opportunity as Clover. He's tried to grab the spot to the entrance to turn 1 and to the entrance to turn 3. He's been unable to get it done. They close in on the lap car that is Railed, who's about a quarter of a straightaway ahead of him. Mike Lloyd got very loose off turn number 4, almost bit the outside concrete off turn number 4, had to grab a handful of steering wheel to keep it off the wall, managed to do so. We continue on and remain under the green flag. Here's Clover swinging to the outside, trying to pull even up off the corner to the outside, but with Bagwell working the middle part of the racetrack, it's going to cut the real estate short to the outside for Clover to get it done. In turn number 3, looks down low. He accepts the invitation that Bagwell has given him to the inside of the racetrack. They head back to turn number 1, again joined at the hip for the race lead as they hit the back straightaway. Here's Clover now into the main straightaway. He's pulled even, but this time he's been able to stay there, stay even with him. on the last couple of occasions as they crossed the start-finish line. Beforehand, when he was down to the inside, he wasn't able to stay there and had to get back nose to tail, but this time he's working on Bagwell pretty good. Off turn number 4, they cross the line. White flag goes to the air. They go back to turn number 1. Bagwell by a half a car length off turn number 2, leading the way on the backstretch. Clover, if he's going to get it done, it'll be in 3. He draws even now. The bottom of the speedway, they work off turn 4. They come to the line. It'll be Bagwell by a half a car length winning. Under the green flag now on the hole shot going to turn number 1. He went to the outside. He started on the outside of the front row. Ron Captain assumes the lead. McCoy falls back in line in second. They work back to turn number 3, still sorting positions as they head onto the backstretch. One machine hits the inside wall and spins off turn number 2. Slight contact made. The truck sits stationary for the moment. We don't even complete a lap. We're just one lap, and then the caution flag flies. About set to go back to green flag racing. A single file restart as they come to the line. Green flag goes to the air off to turn number 1. Captain at jeopardy of losing the top spot off turn number 2. Swings to the outside wall. Here comes McCoy to the inside of the racetrack. He's got the run to turn number 3. He'll draw even off the corner. They almost make contact. Nevertheless, they continue on by a nose. Maybe in turn number 1, it's Captain with the lead. Just behind them is the Bergdahl truck, along with Kreider, who won the heat race earlier on. He's kind of just sitting there waiting for something to happen. You can expect it to happen the way they've been racing the last couple of laps, bouncing off one another, but hey, these trucks got flat sides. You can do that. Bergdahl on the low side of the racetrack. Captain kind of the odd man out. He's got a couple of a Ford and a Chevrolet racing nose to tail kind of teaming up on him. They play some defense back into the corner. Moving up the racetrack is Bergdahl. He'll make the pass. Kreider thought he was going to get in there and grab the number 3 spot. It didn't happen, and he has to get back in line, but he stays right up on the tailgate of Captain on the front straightaway. From third on back, it's a big cluster. Ron Captain with the number 3 position off the end of the backstretch, working at turn number 3. Kreider been in there the last several laps. Looked like he was going to get the spot the last lap, but had to tuck back in line as he ran out of racetrack. He couldn't go to the outside. He was about to lose a spot because he had a truck directly behind him. This time he's to the inside in turn number 3, trying to grab the position. He pulls now down to the bottom of the racetrack, off turn 4 into the main straightaway, trying to pull even to get up underneath him. The drag races on. 2 Chevrolets now going at it off turn 2. Captain, yeah, he's a good race car driver, but if you keep going to the outside lane and unable to tuck it to the bottom, you're simply not going to have much luck, especially here at Rockford. You're going to lose him quickly. He's now falling back and sinking like a boat anchor. Lap truck entering turn number 3. They'll have to go to the outside lane to successfully complete the pass. They finally will, getting by the first lap truck. So the first challenge or first hurdle is over with, but still a long way to go with 36 laps remaining out of the 50 that make up, or I should say 50 laps make up the distance, 35 still left. Now contact in the corner, down the inside goes Bergdahl. He got into the side, turned the machine of McCoy around, getting hit off turn number 4 as Captain drills him coming off the corner. He had back under racing here with 35 laps remaining in the Lund American Race Truck Division. Still chasing Mark Kreider. The cleanup's finally been complete after about a 20-minute, what seemed like, lengthy caution flag. Along the front straightaway, one machine brushes the outside wall. May have pancaked the right side. We'll have to look the next time they go by. That is the truck of Dave Schwartz. Off turn number 4, down to the inside, the machine of Young working the outside groove, losing touch with the leader all the while. Back to the 3rd spot is McCoy in the number 3 position. He has a lot of daylight on everybody else. The 6th truck doing a good job right now, holding everybody off. That is Sean Bergdahl working the outside groove. On the midpoint of the backstretch, he'll clear the lap traffic, but the caution flag will wave. Kreider will lead him back to the line. He'll race them like they run up north. Yeah, kind of looks like a modified, it is a modified looking truck, kind of reminiscent of what a Featherlight modified car looks like, what they run up in the Northeast. Nevertheless, he's at the tail end of the field after leading briefly early on. Green flag back in the air. Mark Kreider off to turn number 3, pulls away by a couple of truck lengths. The longer they stay green, if they stay on green about 5 laps, he stretches that top spot and continues to put distance on everybody else. Thing is, there's not enough trucks in the field really to make a difference as far as lap traffic. That won't complicate matters any at all, really. Out of the inside comes Embry at the stripe. Got a run down to the inside of him. Pulls even with McCoy. Drag racing for the position. A couple of Chevrolets going at it for the number 3 spot. In fact, Chevrolets occupy the first 4 positions in the running order. Caution flag. About to go green again as the pace car is going to cut it to the right side, veer it into the garage area. We're about set to back to green flag racing. Time to get down to business one more time. They come to the stripe. Kreider up through the gearbox, pulls away by a couple of truck lengths, heads off to turn number 1. He's on the brake towards the corner, down to the inside of the racetrack, and still pulling away. Only battling going on now. The real scramble is for 3rd. That's where Embry's down to the inside of McCoy off the end of the back stretch. Got him run on him there and will make the pass at the start-finish line at least by a half a car length, or truck length, I should say. They make close contact as he wanted to get back up in front of him. Embry did, and he finally was able to do it. McCoy just didn't let him. He was being kind of stubborn there momentarily. Stephen Cabot, if you would, go to the ticket office. Stephen Cabot, if you would, go to the ticket office. Again, Stephen Cabot, if you would, report to the ticket office immediately. Race leader and counting one lap car, and that is Schwartz to the inside. He saw him coming. He wasn't going to hold him up. He's too far behind anyway to really race him seriously. He's going to let him go on by. Kreider going to the outside to make the pass. That boxes in Young. That holds up Embry. Embry, the one getting impatient there for the moment, actually wanted to make contact and give a nudge to the machine 3 wide off the corner. Back into the front straightaway. One machine turns around, hits the outside wall. After Sean Parker made it 3 wide, went in the middle of the racetrack. Started scratch on the field. He has gotten the black flag, so that's why he's not on the racetrack right now. Single file off turn number 4. They come back to the stripe, down to the line. Green flag goes to the air. This time, not a jackrabbit start for Mike Kreider. Staying right with him is Young to the outside groove, but he tries to move down low to protect the inside lane, setting up for turn 3. So he doesn't have to worry about the machine of Embry being down there, but too late. Embry does take a peek to the bottom. He's not close enough to make a pass, however, but he will stay single file. They're going to continue to put distance on everybody else. Man, they're getting away on the restart. It's not just one truck, it's 4 of them. And Brian Hott almost gets bumped up out of the groove again and almost makes contact with the wall. We've had a lot of almost tonight, but nevertheless, this time we remain under green. Hott had his hands full. He gripped the steering wheel and was basically white knuckling it at the edge of turn number 2. He almost got around. He straightened the truck up, contact being made near the rear of the field. That's got to concern Kreider, because the more they make contact, the more rapidly he's going to close in, but he just wants to time it right so he catches the traffic before the end of the race or after the race is over, just as he crosses the start-finish line. Right now, he's beginning to draw closer to them at the present time and closing in on them at a rapid pace right now and pulling away from everybody else, as Young was staying with him a moment ago. But the longer we stay green, Kreider's truck definitely better on the long runs. Just 5 laps remain here in the Lund Truck Accessories American Race Truck Division. Mark Kreider catching the tail end of the field. It's enabling the machine in second to close in. That is Josh Cheek, who gets right up on the tailgate, looks down inside. He's trying to dictate what the lap trucks are going to do so he can, and they're double wide some of the lap traffic in turn number 3 as Kreider goes into the corner. He gets bumped from behind, but hey, if Cheek does it, he's going to the rear. There's no doubt about it, should he turn Kreider around. What he wants to do is rattle his cage a little bit and possibly open up the lane so he can get the green light to flash by to pick up the lead. Down into turn number 3, slicing through traffic. It causes a lap truck to spin. The caution flag's going to wave. They race back to the caution flag, and I think by about a postcard width. Out. Single file as they work into turn number 3, getting set to take the green flag. They come into the main straightaway. Green flag will fly. Down to the apron was Kreider. He got a better run going to turn number 1 as he pulls away by a half a truck length. Now Young trying the outside, but he's going to have to worry about his trouble's not over. Oh, one machine to the outside wall, close quarters racing, trying to make a move and making a bid for the 4th position was Scott Gaines, but he glanced off the wall. He continues on, a little bit of chalk marks on the right side tires, but nevertheless, he has settled back in line after struggling earlier on. He made his way to the front of the field. White flag in hand, Kreider down to the stripe. Takes the white flag, one more circuit to go. He feels the pressure from behind by Young, who's a half a truck length behind him. Onto the back stretch, you can fold a blanket basically over the front two. They have left Embry in turn number 3. Here comes Young, but he has to worry about watching his backside for second. Down to the stripe, beneath the checkered flag goes Kreider, winning the Lund American Race Trucks feature event here at Rockford Speedway in Illinois, getting set for Victory Lane.
Here up in turn number 4 at that last caution.
Yeah, when they wrecked over there, I hit the brake so hard, something happened. It was squeaking up front, either broke a brake shoe or something, because that's why I couldn't go in the corners as fast, because it would slide up. So that's why I stayed low, but it looked like that 09 was trying to get me, but I think he was pushing me. That's why I think is that why they black flagged him?
I assume so. It's not my call.
Okay. But if them two guys wanted to tangle, it would have been hard, because it was just the track is a nice track. The rain hurt the infield, but that's about it. But we raced here like 4 different times, and we always finished second. So we put a new motor in for tonight so we could try to win.
Well, we certainly want to congratulate you for coming here to the Rockford Speedway and picking up the big win in the Lundy's Truck Sales 50-lap feature event.
Yeah, that's a beautiful trophy they gave me, so I really appreciate that and all they do for us.
All right, and once again, I'm going to slide over here, talk to Pat and Pam. From Women in NASCAR, 099193. Please check your ticket stubs, 099193. Come down here to the start-finish line, and we'll turn over 280. Steve Dixon doing a heck of a job, kept it off the wall. All right.
About set for the start of the McLeod Mid-Am feature event, which consists of 50 laps. It's Eugene Gregorick, the 16-year-old, leading him to the green flag now. He's flanked on the outside by Jamie Dorsey on the outside of the front row. Dave Pollock will start 4th. Greg Thorson will start 4th. And Scott Knoll will roll off 5th off the corner, down the stripe, green flag goes here. Back to turn number 1, down to the apron, up the racetrack, contact made. They continue on onto the back straightaway, pulls ahead by a nose heading to turn number 3. Gregorick with the lead, about the lead, lap number 1 here as he heads off turn number 4. They're single file amongst the front 4 machines. The battle's on from about 5th on back. Everybody double wide there, trying to jockey for position on the back stretch. Okay. Knoll with his hands full, trying to move back to the outside, which was the normal racing groove along the front straightaway, but can't get back in line. He's going to get past. Hernandez takes his spot, moves up to the 4th position. They work back into the corner. The side-by-side racing is starting to get far and few and in between now as they head back to turn number 1. Wilcox now trying to make a move, but further to the front of the field. Here's a challenge for the number 3 spot. Hernandez got by Knoll a moment ago, disposed of him and quickly pulled away. He's now laying his sights on Pollock off turn number 2, but can't make the move. Loses momentum on the back stretch, has to fall back in line. The front 4 make that from 2nd all the way back to around 5th, or nose to tail, running in a pack and being content to ride there. Everybody from there back starting to get racy and have to with only 50 laps, as Wilcox now picking up a spot. He's now moved up to the 6th position as he occupies the low groove, closes in on Knoll heading back to turn number 1. Further ahead, again the challenge for 2nd. Looked like Hernandez was going to settle down for a few laps. It didn't happen. He spills down to the inside, left side rubber on the white line, pulls even off the corner, pokes the nose ahead, grabs the spot as he hits back to turn number 1. Now the job at hand is trying to track down the second place machine, which is Jamie Dorsey, who occupies the runner-up spot after starting second. Here comes Wilcox now trying to take a position away. Down to the inside, it heads back to turn number 1 to try to grab the spot. Wilcox can't. He has to get back in line, but trying to make moves rational, going to the inside and outside. Off turn number 2, a problem going into turn number 3. Scott Knoll, his night appears.
4 to take the green.
Getting set for the restart off turn number 4. Green flag goes to the air. Just 41 laps remain out of the 50 that is making up the distance. Back to turn number 1. Eugene Gregorich done a great job so far of holding on to the lead. Nobody's been able to get around him yet. Down to the inside, a pass, a change for the third position. That's where Wilcox gets the better run off turn number 4. Pokes the nose at the stripe to grab the position back into the corner. On the outside groove, too late. Pollock tries to move down low, but it comes at the expense of Wilcox going below him to pick up the position. He moves to 4th. Gregorich leads. Second is Dorsey running in the runner-up spot. Hernandez sits 3rd. Now 3 wide off turn number 2, a little bit further back in the pack. And a wreck in turn number 1. It involves 3 cars, hard contact into the concrete. The leaders all sweep below.
All right, just having a little fun with our race fans here. Everybody having a good time. Here they come. Out of turn 4, green flag.
Gregorich heads off to turn number 1, has the lead, but right now he's feeling the challenge. The most he's been challenged all night long on the midpoint of the backstretch. Down to the inside goes Dorsey. Dorsey can't make the run and get past him. Here comes Peter Hernandez down to the inside challenging for second. Everybody from there back in a real log jam on the back straightaway. Here's Corso. He's got problems. Look like a right front tire possibly gone down on his machine. He's just trying to keep it up out of the groove, let the traffic go beneath him so he can get the pit road. A tough break for Corso, who usually runs pretty well at this racetrack, but something obviously wrong with his machine. He's now losing ground as I speak and air the tail end of the field. If he stays out there much longer, he'll get lapped. Gregorich has been able to pull away, but the side-by-side racing's been from second on back. That's where Hernandez off the banking and down to the inside. Had been picking them off one by one. It's just taking him a little bit longer to grab second than he wanted, than he anticipated. He's been trying to dictate what the machine of Dorsey's going to do. He'll work to the outside and drift up the racetrack. Here comes Wilcox following through. It's Peter Hernandez opening up the lane that he goes by. Wilcox will take advantage. He can be a real player here too, and what could affect the outcome of the race. Here's Wilcox down low as he pulls even. That enables Hernandez to pull away so he can set his sights on the leader, who's about 8 car lengths in front of him now as they cross the start-finish line. Gregorich, so far, he's done a great job, and really, he's been able to get away from the restart, so he's had a good race car all night long. He's going to swing wide on Corso. Corso's a veteran, so he'll give him some slack. He won't hold him up. Comes off turn number 4. Wilcox gets turned around, spun down through the grass. He gets hit from behind by Dorsey, just as Wilcox, about a lap beforehand, here so far this evening, but Hernandez has been a rocket ship since the outset of the race. He started a little far back, but has quickly made his way to the front of the field. Down to the inside, he'll try to challenge for the position. Corso back on the racetrack after going back to the garage. A tire went down, that has been changed, but he's near the tail end of the field, about to go a lap down. Doesn't want to, but he realizes he is going to go get passed by the leaders. He's to the inside of the racetrack. Gregorich makes the pass off turn 4. Hernandez now working the outside, but Corso not going to hold him up. Hernandez could possibly have the best car on the racetrack and the fastest at this time. Corso 2 laps in the rears now, and he started to fall back. Once he got passed by Gregorich, he's not going to hold anybody else up to prevent them from closing into the front of the field and possibly challenging for the win. Right now, he's getting back up in line because he's 2 car lengths ahead of everybody else. Here's Pollock. He continues to be under challenge. He lost the 3rd position, or I should say the runner-up spot a moment ago. Has fell back just a bit now into the clutches of Mike DeKester. Kester took a look off the corner, but fell back a car length going to turn number 1. He's working at high groove off the turn and onto the back straightaway. Gregorich now catching the tail end of the field, about to enter some lap traffic. This could be the real factor on the side of the outcome of this race. Hernandez, he's been around the racing a long time, knows how to work lap traffic. A youngster directly in front of him, Gregorich showing the way, does not have a lot of experience as far as racing some of the lap traffic and some of the different situations that you encounter. Right now he continues to lead, however, back to turn number 1, doing a great job making the back end of his car as wide as possible, trying to block the racetrack to keep the position, but he's just as quick as Hernandez. Hernandez just trying to get a little bit better bite at the exit of turn 4. Corso, a lap car, all of a sudden he's now getting racy, trying to make up those laps back. Hey, we had some cautions that were frequent earlier. If he could get out in front of the leaders, he could get one of those laps back. If he could stay out there on the restarts and get the jump and get another one, he could get both of them back. Right now he's third in line, but two laps down. He's trying to work up underneath the machine of Hernandez. He's just as quick as him. Hernandez is going to keep the spot for now, back to turn number 1, working the outside groove. Up the racetrack goes Corso, but he loses ground and that falls back a half a car length. Still they're encountering lap traffic in 3 and 4. Gregorich still showing the way. Trouble in turn number 1. Couple of machines get together up into the outside wall. After going through the grass, another machine spins across the racetrack. It is
Here they come out of turn number 4 and up the front chute. Green flag, we're racing.
Gregory back to the stripe, lays the block on Hernandez, keeps the position, but for Hernandez, strong on the outside groove, gets into the loose stuff with some of that straight dry laid down to the racetrack, almost gets into the wall, if not, may have just brushed it slightly, but nevertheless a good piece of driving and a handful of steering wheel grab by Hernandez to keep it off the wall. He is working that high groove. I think it's one of those deals where if he stays up there the next couple of laps unharmed, he can eventually work it in and end up running there comfortably, but it enabled Gregorich to pull away. What was a 2-car length edge he had has now been stretched to about 8 car lengths. Here comes Hernandez with his hands full. He's got second, but down to the inside as Rybuck now moves up to the 3rd position. He's trying to do it on the hard way, going the long way around to make the pass, and finally does off turn number 2 around Duquestre. Duquestre down to the inside of the racetrack trying to make that pass. Mark Pluer also in the mix. Single file virtually throughout the field now. Wilcox, who got spun around and punted from behind earlier on in the race, was brought out of caution trying to work his way back to the front of the field after running in the top 5. But Gregorich in turn number 3, working the middle part of the racetrack, basically what he's done all night. 3 wide off turn number 4, a close call. It was briefly though, but one driver had to back out of it. It was Plural getting back into line. As Rybuck stayed in the gas, he was trying to get to the inside of Hernandez, but couldn't make the pass. Billy Preetzel, the current point leader here in the McLeod Mid-American Stock Car Series, right now being cautious, just biding his time. He wants to take a position if the opportunity is available, but knows he's got a good consistent run if he can just stay where he's at, but he does want to advance before the race is over with. Gregorich, though, the man with clear racetrack ahead of him, working to turn number 3. He has no traffic to deal with, and he's got a 7-car length edge, and he has 10 laps to go. You couldn't ask for a better circumstances than what Gregorich has. Hernandez, though, on that restart, when he worked the outside, he got a run on Gregorich, but he got in the loose stuff. That's where the gray area of the racetrack and the rubber is laid down. Not only that, but some stay dry was put down there after a caution. 2 cautions on 2 different occasions happened in turn number 1. Got into that, hit the outside wall, glanced off of it, and lost about 8 car lengths, and he's really not lost any more ground than what he lost that time after hitting the wall, but he's not gained any either, so that's the bad thing. Hernandez has flirted with victory on several occasions, but yet to visit victory lane. He currently sits in the 2nd spot. Plural, the one coming on strong here in the late going, sticks it to the bottom off turn 4, down to the inside of the machine of Rybuck. Rybuck wants to hold on to 3rd, but he may not be able to do it. Down to the inside of the racetrack goes Plural, trying to take the spot. A whole cluster of machines from about 3rd on back. Hernandez pulling away. He likes all that double wide activity. Gregorich in turn number 3, works off turn number 4, the far end of the racetrack. About to see 5 laps to go. He heads on to the back straightaway. Still, as I said, clear racetrack ahead of him. About 8 car lengths in front of Peter Hernandez, who sits in the 2nd position. 3rd is Rybuck, then the scramble for 4th with Plural down to the inside. As Kuster now down to the inside of the racetrack. He's in a mix for the 4th position. That's been a tight battle off the corner as they race along the front straightaway. Tries to chop it down low in the middle of the speedway. Plural going to get back in line and will, a half a car length back. Caution off turn number 4 as it waves, spinning up off the banking up in turn number 4. They will race to the yellow. It'll be riding in the 5th position. They get close together, almost make contact with each other's bumpers off turn number 4. It'll be a single file restart with a green, white, and checker. Down to the stripe, up through the gearbox, Gregorich, but so is Hernandez. He got a good jump on the restart last time, Hernandez did. He didn't get the lead this time as he tried the outside the previous restart. It didn't work. Off turn number 4, he's got his hands full. Down to the inside of the racetrack goes to Kester. Kester can't open up the lane. White flag goes to the air onto the back stretch. Hernandez just got to worry about keeping the 2nd position. He'll try an outside move to get a run on Gregorich. Gregorich slows the block, comes down to the stripe. As he crosses the stripe, and Gregorich is going to win this thing. The 16-year-old sensation here in the McLeod Mid-American Stock Car Series will grab the win, leading.
You came to the Rockford Speedway, not an easy track to drive, but I recall back in 1977 here at the Speedway, a young man came over that pit entrance to the Speedway. You might know him. His name is what?
I'm just guessing Dick Trickle here.
Well, it was Mark Martin, to be honest with you, and you're certainly walking into the footsteps of some very famous race car drivers. You led lap to lap, green to checker. You had a good run going. You had a fast car.
That car was set up. I mean, this track, the guys did a great job setting the car up. I got to thank my Ma. It's her birthday today, so thanks for all the help on the car, Ma.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for tonight's winner.
Side of the racetrack goes to Kester. Kester can't open up the lane. White flag goes to the air onto the back stretch. Hernandez just got to worry about keeping the 2nd position. He'll try an outside move to get a run on Gregorich. Gregorich slows the block, comes down the stripe. As he crosses the stripe, and Gregorich is going to win this thing.
All righty. Oh my. The Twin 100 lap feature event. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, a big at Valve's 100 lap feature event to close out our Saturday portion of the 3-day weekend here at the Rockford Speedway, the 35th running of the National Short Track Championships. Go ahead, Nick, take it away.
About set to get underway now is the field on the back straightaway behind the pace truck as it starts to move away from the field. Rubeck was one of those guys that led the middle portion of that event, the first 100 lapper, as they come off turn number 4. Gets a good jump to the start this time. He comes to the stripe but fell back in the late portion of that race. Almost a crash in turn number 1. Several machines get together. That is McCoy spinning one car up on the left side of the machine. It'll roll over. Bilderback, the winner of the race, in turn number 1. In the first race, he has damage. Several machines involved, and it's like a park.
John Reynolds out of his car. And of course, John Reynolds full of mud as the infield crew members.
Car that kind of spun and everybody else checked up, and then they got all locked together and the log jam took place. Back off turn number 4, he'll join the tail end of the field to the stripe. Rubeck to turn number 1, leads them into the corner. They may be apprehensive about going into the turn after that wreck took place. A lot of oil dry on the bottom of the racetrack, but they're going full bore and going as hard as they normally would. Off the corner, still dead even for the lead, but Eldridge in the forward trying to move by is Chevrolet of Ruback to turn number 1, going to the outside of the racetrack. Miller going to get to the outside groove after initially going to the bottom of the speedway, but Ruback was a little bit slower, that held him up. On pit road again, McCoy, something not right with his car after repairs were made. He's now back into the pit area to the attention of his crew. They're not really in a frantic pace as far as going underneath the hood to look and investigate further on what the problem exactly is. A tough rake by McCoy. Eldridge leads the way to turn number 1 to the outside. Miller trying to go up on the high groove 2 to following Dorf directly in front of the leader. It'll play to his favor. He's been working to the inside, so it makes no difference. To the inside is Middendorf. That's going to hold up Ruback. Ruback gets boxed in momentarily back to turn 1, a 3-wide situation, but hey, they went by him so rapidly it didn't make any difference. Even though if they was 3 wide, it didn't stay there for long. Off the corner, they'll close in on Rasmussen to the inside of the racetrack. He'll work the apron. Off the turn, down the backstretch, one car spins. It is Michael Eady making contact with Papini in turn number 3. Other cars now taking evasive action, including Ruback, who almost single file restart. Eldridge back to the stripe. Going to see if he can get a jump on the machine of Ruback. Ruback pulls to the inside. No traffic to deal with. Back to turn 1. Ruback remains down low going into the corner. Pulls even coming off the turn. The Chevrolet down to the inside. The Ford of Eldridge to the high side. They work to turn 3. Here comes Miller, Dennis that is, to the inside of Jeremy. Double wide there for the 3rd spot while the battle rages on for the lead back into the corner. Trouble along the front straightaway. One machine hard into the concrete along the inside wall. It is April Reamer. Not sure if she received help or not. Running near the tail. And as they head off into turn number 3, the pace car exits the racetrack. We're about set to go green. It flies up high and goes in the air as they head to turn number 1. Eldridge down to the inside being challenged yet again. Ruback, he was good on the restarts at the first 100 lapper. He's trying to put the move on Eldridge in turn number 3, diving to the bottom. Here goes Eldridge. I don't believe he was looking directly in front of him. He was paying attention of what was happening more so in his rearview mirror. Almost lost the lead. It almost cost him that time in turn number 3. He hangs on to it, but still he's got his hands completely full, gripping the steering wheel as tight as possible, opening up the lane down low. Here comes Ruback. Miller's to the outside in the 3rd spot. Jeremy, that is. Dennis trying to see which lane to follow. Which one will open up first? None does. Here goes Jeremy to the outside. Dennis will do the same. Along with Hacker there also making a 4-car battle for the race lead. Jeremy Miller trying to get the win here this evening. He's directly behind Eldridge for the top spot. Down low is Ruback. Ruback moving up off the bottom of the speedway, almost into the side of Miller midway down the backstretch. That's the challenge for the 2nd spot. Ruback knows if he can just hold on to that spot, he may could actually challenge Eldridge, but Eldridge is going to pull away as long as they race double wide. That's just all there is to it. It's Eldridge leading. Running 2nd is Jeremy Miller. Riding in the 3rd spot, double wide for it. Poking the nose ahead, getting the slight edge is Ruback over Dennis Miller. 4th is Hacker sitting in the, or I should say he's running actually in the 5th position because they're double wide still for 3rd with Ruback and Dennis Miller. 6th is Guile. And that is the front pack, and they've been able to break away from everybody else. A lot of cars picking the inside and outside lanes if they can. The way they're racing from 2nd on back, it's almost like they're at a pace lap at high speed. Miller trying to chop it down low. He actually wants to get to the inside. He's been hanging up there on the high groove a lot of times. Been making it work though, doing it the hard way, but for now he pokes the nose ahead of Ruback. Ruback at times pokes the nose ahead. Still, that's a drag race that's been ongoing for the last 10 or 11 laps. Hacker also there, directly behind Ruback. If he could get behind Miller, he's the fastest car. He could probably literally push him and move him by. But it's Ruback trying to move up into line. I actually think he wants to get to the outside groove, but as long as they stay dead even with him and block the outside, he's not going to get there. He's just going to try to maintain his groove where he's got. That's on the inside of the racetrack, so he's doing the best he can with the cars that he's being dealt with. Now starting to get under a good stretch of green flag racing. That's where you begin to see who's got what and who doesn't have anything. You'll see guys come from the back to the front. Some guys fade and go to the back. One car down to the inside, smacking the concrete. Smoke now trails from underneath the car. Caution flag is out. His car sits up against the wall. I believe that's the George Bone automobile. As he sits up against the
car. Ricky, a tough break for you. Certainly you went into this race with high expectations considering your finish in the first race.
Yeah, I mean, that's short track racing. We seem to wreck about as much as we win, so the car's not that bad, but it broke the rack, so we're done for the evening. It's kind of it's a no point situation where you might as well either win or you don't. Might as well not go back out.
Well, Ricky, this could be your last race here at Rockford Speedway for year 2000 as you probably head up to La Crosse to take part in the Oktoberfest. We want to thank you for some exciting racing here at the Rockford Speedway throughout the season.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to thank all the fans that's come out every week and really cheered us on. And next year is going to be a really good year, and we'll be here for it.
We certainly wish you the best. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky Bilderback up on the front straightaway. What happened?
Well, I'm not really sure. The yellow was out and was up here in 3 and 4, and I was under Dennis. I guess he didn't know I was underneath there, and we just got together and busted a tie rod in. Car won't steer no more.
Okay, Bobby Hacker out of the race with right front suspension damage, unable to continue. Thanks a lot, Bobby Hacker.
Green flag racing, couple lap cars to the inside. Eldridge wants to break away as soon as possible. Successfully clears the lap machine going to turn number 1. Jeremy Miller does the same. The car not so lucky is Rubeck, who's to the outside, has trouble disposing of the lapped automobile on the back straightaway as he heads for turn number 3. Rubeck down low now that he's cleared the lap car and trying to press hard on Miller's machine, but Jeremy holds on to the spot. He's done a nice job all night long. Miller to the outside, opening up the lane to the bottom of the speedway. He'll keep the position for now. Rubeck, 3rd, 4th. Directly behind him is Dennis Miller. Then you go back to Papini. Now, Papini can be the real player here. He was consistent earlier on, and I think finished something like, I'm going to say 2nd, yeah, in the first of the Joliet Valves Twin 100s. He's currently 5th now, and I would say he or Dennis Miller are the odds-on favorite now to win the overall championship. Hey, they may not win tonight, but hey, consistent as far as a race, but consistency is what plays a part. They're one of the few cars that don't have some sort of a nick, dent, or ding on their machines. When you come to places like this, sometimes you're going to replace everything but the roof. And the body men will be hard at work. Rubeck challenging 3rd, from third down to the inside, trying to take second off the corners. At the exit of turn number 4 is usually where he gets his run. He has to move back to the outside, but hey, if he does the same thing that Miller's going to do, he ain't going to make the pass. Eldridge off the end of the backstretch, swinging wide of a lap car. That's Middendorf. Middendorf knows they're coming. He might as well just stay there a little bit longer because he knows other cars on the lead lap are down there as well. They're coming in a hurry. They bypass him down to the inside. Miller got his hands full opening up the lane. He's been working to that outside, but at the exit of turn number 4, he'll pinch Rubeck off at the exit of the turn. Single file back to turn number 1. Down to the inside again comes Rubeck. Man, this has been a pretty good race to watch from second on back. Hey, you don't even pay no attention to the leader because Eldridge is pulling away as long as they race double wide. That holds up everybody else behind them as Miller is in the 4th position following the inside groove. Rubeck, though, just don't have the strength and the muscle to get up and around Miller. On occasion, the leaders will encounter some lap traffic, but it's kind of been sporadic throughout the racetrack. It's not been in a big cluster that they've encountered like we saw in the first race. Of course, a lot of that has to go to the wreck that happened at the start of the race where it involved 11 cars on the initial green. As they headed into turn number 1, they all piled up. Eldridge off turn number 4. Eldridge, who used to run here on a regular basis, has now been racing here frequently the last year or so, currently leading. He's won here at this racetrack before, in position to win again tonight. Had a pretty good run earlier on in the race. The car was not exactly right, but made some adjustments, and hell, it shows. He's continued to lead. He's led from the outset of the race. Finished 8th, the last car on the lead lap in the first 100-lap race earlier on in the night. Rubeck has kind of settled down for the moment. He's not really doing anything as far as to pull alongside, flash by. Occasionally he'll look down low. This time he does it in turn number 3. There for a moment, looked like he was going to be content to just kind of ride there for the moment. This stage of the race, Dennis Miller may just want to see how strong Rubeck and Jeremy Miller are. He's been playing catch up, so to speak, for around the last 20 laps or so, trying to get up to him. Finally, he's caught him. He's down to the inside following Rubeck. Papini directly behind him. Now that's a tight race going, and one you want to watch if you're in the grandstand. Because they were second and third respectively in the first race. Bilderback won the first race. He fell out of this race as he got in that wreck on the start of the event in turn number 1. So he's out of the picture as far as winning the overall championship of the Joliet Valves Twin 100s. They're off turn number 4. Jeremy Miller literally pushing the car of Rubeck to turn number 1. Eldridge working the high groove. The farthest he can pull away is a car length. Trouble along the front straightaway. The lap car, Middendorf, makes contact with the machine of Rubeck. Rubeck, who loses the back end, it comes around on him. He came across the racetrack. He goes off turn number 4, down the stripe, about set for the restart. Just 20 laps to go to decide this one. Eldridge done a great job so far. He's led from the start of the race. You couldn't ask for a more perfect night, but so far he's got to be wondering when it's coming. When are they going to gang up on me? They've been right behind him all night long. They've just yet to pull up underneath him or go to his outside to challenge him. Eldridge back to turn number 1, down to the inside, a challenge for second. A couple of Millers now joined at the hip on the back straightaway as they work back to turn number 3. Miller down to the inside, Jeremy or Dennis that is, trying to put the move on. They make contact at the stripe. He has to fall back in line. He's not going to make the pass. Jeremy does a good job of kind of holding him off. Hey, at this later stage of this race, you have no friends. If you're caught in the odd predicament, hey, tough. He's still down. Jeremy Miller, he's had a couple of close calls throughout the race. Yeah, he made some boo-boos, but hey, he worked himself out of it. That had to show something. A lot of talent that he has on only a second year driving a late model stock car here at Rockford Speedway. In the second position right now, holding the runner-up spot, but about to lose it. Getting the black flag is Middendorf, who's to the inside of the racetrack. May go to the garage and park it for good. Off the banking in turn number 4, across the stripe. Miller still working on the back bumper of Jeremy Miller. Dennis Miller, that is, falls back a car length. The log jam starts behind him. About 3 cars running nose to tail, with Miller starting in the 3rd position. 4th is Papini. Running in the 4th spot is the machine of Guile. Guile back to turn number 1, trying to follow the move down to the inside. Should something come available with Miller, hey, he pulls even every now and then, but then loses ground on the straightaways. Jeremy Miller able to hold on to the 2nd position. That's where he currently runs. He may just want to feel happy if he comes away with a 2nd place finish. The way he's been challenged tonight, he's been looking in his rear view and trying to drive straight ahead. While he's doing that, he's losing touch with the leader. Travis Eldridge works to turn number 3. He really hasn't been pressured all night long, just a couple of times on a restart, but right now he has clear racetrack ahead of him. So a lot of daylight there, and he's starting to open up a little daylight on 2nd place. Jeremy Miller, who sits in the runner-up spot. Dennis Miller down to the inside. It's just a matter of time before he goes by. He's worked on him pretty good. He's tried the low side, he's tried the outside groove, but has yet to make something work in order to pull by and grab sole possession of the runner-up spot. Trying to grab the 2nd spot, but Papini stays with him. This could get interesting. Those two now trying to win the overall championship. Just 5 laps to go. They head into the main straightaway. Don't be surprised if you see some bumping and banging going on here in the late going for the runner-up spot. Here's Dennis Miller down to the inside, double wide with Jeremy Miller, who's to the outside. Down to the inside of him, following Miller, thinking about making it 3 wide is Papini. He thinks better of it, heading back to turn number 1. Papini tries to go outside, loses a car length, but the reason why he's backing off, he's hoping that the 2 Millers will get together and give way to him so he can move into 2nd should they make contact. It's not happened yet. They've been close on a couple of occasions. They're swinging wide on McCoy off the end of the backstretch to turn number 3 to get by him. The chief starter now giving the move over sign to several of the lap cars which are in the way. Eldridge now about set. The next time he comes around, he'll take the white flag. He leads by 5 car lengths entering turn 3. Here's Dennis Miller to the inside, challenging Jeremy. Off turn number 4, white flag in the air for Eldridge. Back to turn number 1, works the middle groove, clears the lap car. On the back straightaway, which is Stevens on the midpoint of the backstretch. In turn number 3, clear racetrack for him. 2 car length edge he has. Off turn number 4, checkered flag goes to Travis Eldridge. 2nd place is Jeremy Miller. Dennis Miller finishes 3rd. Al Papini finished in the 4th spot. And Tommy Guile finished in the 5th position.
Travis is Eldridge first feature win as coming to the forefront in his young NASCAR late model driving career here at the Rockford Speedway and thereabouts. Your crew coming in to congratulate you. Heck of a run, Travis.
Well, these guys deserve it, man. They stuck with me all year. We had a lot of problems at the beginning of the year. We started running good at the end. I got to thank my mom and dad. Without them, I wouldn't be doing it. The crew did a great job. All my sponsors, just everybody. It's been worth it now.
Well, do me a favor. Take a look at this beautiful trophy that you won. It's being presented to you by Pat Sharp of the Joliet Valves Company as Travis Eldridge extends the handshake and the victory trophy.
White flag in the air for Eldridge. Back to turn number 1, works the middle groove, clears the lap car on the back straightaway, which is Stevens on the midpoint of the back stretch. In turn number 3, clear racetrack for him. 2 car length edge he has. Off turn number 4, checkered flag goes to Travis Eldridge. Second place is Jeremy Miller. Dennis Miller finishes third. Alpha